What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, America? About them Cowboys. America's team, we ready. And we are ready. Ready for some football. It is on and popping. Cowboys and Eagles, game in a week. It's going to be on. Y'all, this show is going to be so fire. We got a special guest with us today. Y'all, listen, because, D's been beating me up at the 49ers. No, his team is losing, but I've been losing to the 49ers. So now I need a breath of fresh air. All right, I need something different so that I can be able to exploit this greatness that the Cowboys have in the NFC East. But before we do that, we are about to get into the fire show. It's Brooklyn Beards and Balls Sports Show. What's going on, America? It's your boy Rod. It's your boy Don. We are in the building. And listen, we need y'all to do us a favor. We need you to like. We need you to share. We need you to comment. Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate the love. We appreciate all of the followers and the subscribers. Make sure you hit that notification button and get that little bell popping, all right? So you can get all of the things pertaining to Brooklyn Beards and Balls Sports Show straight to your phone. It's on and popping. Talk about the Cowboys. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Big Don, what's going on with you, sir?
Oh man, I want to know if you're going to be this excited Monday. Listen. I want to know if you're going to be this excited Monday. This is
take no thought for tomorrow. All right? Or at least not in the next 24 hours.
Right. Exactly. This is going to be a great show. Unfortunately,
great show.
The 49ers aren't playing this week. We're on a bye, but this is a fantastic football week.
Yes,
the NFL is really doing its thing with this schedule. Yes. So I'm excited. We have a fantastic guest, Bruce Phillips, a.k.a. Skrap, my boy that I've known for over a decade, maybe 15, 20 years. We worked together back in New York. Okay. And so very excited about this show, man. This is going to be, he is our resident Eagles fan. So this is going to be a great show. Everybody sit back and enjoy. But without further ado, man, let's get into it.
What's up, fellas?
Week 9. Woohoo! We got him. We got him on the show, baby.
Y'all. Scrap in the building.
Absolutely.
Let's give it up for him.
We are ready. We are ready. Welcome to the show, Scrap.
Oh,
man. This is...
Welcome, bro.
He supports the show 100%.
Yes,
He's always on it.
Yes, he does, man.
And he is our resident Eagles fan. He is a diehard Eagles fan. So this is going to be really, really interesting. And this is a big, big game for the NFC East, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys over the now. Let's start off with the team with the best record, right? Eagles 7-1. They always find a way to win. It hasn't been the prettiest. It hasn't been the most. 50-2. It hasn't been those games, but they have been gritty wins. They find a way to win the game, which is what's important. Wins and losses is what all that matters, right? So at the end of the day, it's been exciting to watch. Now, Dallas, after having a hiccup here and there, last two games, although Chargers game, it was a necessary victory that they got.
Yeah.
Last week against the Rams, a lot better, more impressive. Now, these two teams, Dallas is coming in 5-2, Eagles 7-1, big clash. This is for, obviously, it's a statement for both teams, right? Now, although the Eagles have a better record, they've been impressive. This is a team that obviously they're going to face. This is a divisional game. It's for bragging rights. But I will say this. Micah Parsons is not helping the case. Micah Parsons needs to probably pause his podcast during the NFL season because he's saying he's giving every team that he's given credit for being better than the Cowboys, they lose to. So I'll say this. I think it's going to be good. I'm going to give it over to you guys. But my question is, does this game define, depending on who wins, who loses, does this game define, or do you think this game will pretty much determine who is considered the best in the East? What do you guys say?
Well, I'm gonna defer to Scrap. That's our guest today, man. So I'm gonna let Scrap go ahead and set it off. regarding this matchup this week. So tomorrow. So it's on you, Scrap. What say you, sir?
First of all, before I get started, I want to say thanks for having me. As you know, I'm a avid watcher and commenter.
Yes.
You guys got a good thing going.
Appreciate
and,
it, bro.
I like it. I like it a lot. But getting into the before we get into this, Don, you said I was an avid, resident Eagle fan. I'm an all Philly fan.
All Philly fan. Got
all
it.
Philly fan. That's what's up.
To basketball. If it's Philly, that's my team. Okay.
That's what's up.
Now,
that's what's up.
Getting into this Eagles and Cowboys matchup. Every year, when our schedule comes out, I go through it, and there's two games that I circle. It's the Eagles against the Giants in Philly, and the Eagles against the Giants in New York, Jersey. Because I know, without a doubt in my mind, that I can lay $50 on FanDuel for anytime Boston Scott touchdown and cash out. I have no feelings about the Cowboys. I don't fear them. Dak, what I hear a lot from Cowboy fans in general is Dak's NFC East record. And it is impressive. It's nothing to just, turn your nose up at. It's impressive. But that, to me, you ever hear the saying is everybody's the man in their own hood?
Mm-hmm.
The NFC East is Dak's hood, okay? Dak comes in, he has the leather jacket on, the hair slicked to the side. He bangs on the jukebox, his song comes on. He's like the Fonz, But he steps out of the NFC East, and he goes into another soda shop, bangs on the jukebox. The song don't come on. People start noticing his jacket ain't real leather. They look at his hair, they see it's a comb over. He's not outside of the NFC. He's a regular dude, but inside the NFC East, he's that dude. You can't take that away from him. But I called China this morning, and the price of tea is still the same. That NFC East record has nothing to do with the price of tea in China. So like any other Eagles fan, I worry about today, what's going on today. Not what happened yesterday, not what happened last year, 20, 30 years ago. I worry about today. And today, at this very moment, I think we have the better quarterback. I think we have the better team. And I think that's going to show tomorrow. Realistically, I see us winning by at least 2 field goals. So that 3.5, I would take the Eagles giving 3.5. Matter of fact, I am going to take the Eagles giving 3.5. And I think Dallas is going to lose. This game is going to go one or two ways, and I'll be brutally honest. We're either going to blow y'all out, or it's going to be a close game. There's no other ways about it. Like, we're either going to blow y'all out, we're just going to win by at least two field goals. Because when Lane Johnson is playing, Micah is an afterthought. Like the first game last year when Micah played. And before Lane Johnson got hurt, you didn't even know Micah was in the game. But once after Lane Johnson got hurt, then all of a sudden, here's number 11 in on every play. So as long as we neutralize him, I don't have that much, respect for your secondary. Even though our secondary is horrible too, but that Bland, he's very bland. I said that. I typed that before. Now I get to actually say it to you. Bland is very bland. Bland is very bland. Gilmore he might as well hand him a towel because he's washed up. He's washed up, ready to get out. He's ready to dry off. I just don't see what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you our game plan because I talked to Nick and the guys. We're going to run the ball. We're going to run the ball because y'all can't stop the run. We're going to. Listen, if y'all bet on y'all props, put DeAndre Swift in for 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
2 DeAndre Swift touchdowns. All right. And a Goddard touchdown. It's gonna be a backer game. Tight end and running backs. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. So what do you think, Rod? Let me hear from you.
All right. Let's put this all in perspective. What's up, Scrap? What's good? Okay, Scrap bringing the heat. Already, I love the analogies. Got the Fonz going on, the slick back, the leather jackets, and the whole 9. All right, but let me get to this question, though. Listen. Does this game will this game have any implication on who's the dominant team in the NFC East, or who could we even win the division for that matter? I will say no to that. We still got another matchup. You still got a lot of football left. So I wouldn't say that this game, it becomes the pinnacle or is the deciding factor in terms of who's going to win the NFC East. I wouldn't say that. But I will say that obviously the winner of this game certainly puts themselves in the driver's seat, and they begin to launch a different level of momentum from this game going forward. Now, we heard Skrap talk about, the Cowboys can't stop in the run and so forth, but not having Van Der Esch is huge, because Van Der Esch actually anchors our back end on the run. So he's huge. We got Hankins in the middle. And for people that try to always say Dallas is bad against the run, it's not really true. We're not bad against the run. We're about an average team when it comes against the run. We've actually stopped 2 good backs already. Well, especially with Eckler when he came back against the Chargers. The truth is, though, with Dallas is that I know the Eagles are going to definitely try to run the ball. Marquise Bell has been playing very well, along with Damone Clark. So we're looking for them to step up. It's going to be a test, because the truth is, Jalen Hurts is not going to run like you saw him run last year. Okay, what he say? That knee is hurting him. He's got issues, and he's not going to run the ball like that, like he was with a whole lot of read option. So expect Swift to definitely get some. Gainwell is going to get some. The truth is that Dallas definitely is going to have a test against the run. But when you look at Micah Parsons, Lane Johnson don't matter, because Parsons, out of the 6 sacks he's got this year, only 1 actually came on the end. He can come up against the center. He can come in the B gap. He can come in the A gap. It don't matter, because Quinn is going to set him up all over the place. So the truth is, you're going to have to look. Lane Johnson ain't following Micah. So the truth is that Micah can set up anywhere he needs to set up on that formation, and he's definitely going to come. Ozigi OC is coming, and D-Law is definitely good against the run. So coming on the outside, Dallas actually fares well when teams try to run on the outside on them, particularly the D-Law side, because Law definitely is one of the best, according to PFF, against the run. Now, you talk about our secondary. Damone Clark is top 5, bro, on PFF. Top 5. Like, dude, he's one of the top in pass deflections. He's one of the top with the lowest completion percentage against him. The dude this is why next year is going to be so crazy. When Diggs get back, we're going to have 2 shutdown corners. And he's got 3 pick sixes already this year. And he's led the league in the interceptions the past 2 years. Last year when he was a rookie, and this year, as far as the most interceptions in the last year and a half. So Damone Clark is that dude. Deron Bland is that dude. So he trusts me. It ain't nothing bland about him but his last name. That's it. But now here's the thing. I would rather Bland actually play Brown, because A.J. Brown is going to be a problem. We know he's balling out over 120-something yards in the last 6 games or whatever it's been. He's been balling out. I'd rather him because he's a little more physical, and the truth is I'd rather him try to play on A.J. Brown. You're right about Gilmore. Gilmore hasn't – the thing with Gilmore is Gilmore's lost a step in terms of his speed. So the crosser routes is a problem. Really, and which could be a problem if they even put him on Devontae. So Devontae obviously got the speed. Matter of fact, let me think this through for a minute. I would rather Bland actually on Devontae, and I would actually put Gilmore Gizzy, put him on Brown, because of the fact that he's not, obviously it's physical, but he doesn't have to worry about the speed element there, because that's what Gilmore's lost a step. He's still a good tackler. He can still defend curl routes, comebacks, different things like that. Post routes, he can still defend, even sideline throws, but the problem is that it's that speed. So the crosses, if you got Smith running across, it's a wrap. Gilly's going to just be gasping for air trying to chase him down after like a 35-yard game. Yeah, no doubt. That's exactly what, and we don't even, because that, and then you get called for the PI. So that's what the problem is. But let me just say this real quick though. This game is going to be, to me, one in the trenches. Our O-line has not been playing well. Our blocking scheme for run has not looked well at all. Dallas is struggling. Now, our running backs coach just got back last week. He was out, sick, personal issues, whatever. He's back now. I noticed in the second half of the game against the Rams, Pollard actually ran a lot better. So I'm hoping that whatever they was able to do, they was going to have to try to somewhat implement right here. But this game is going to be won on Dak's arm and Dak's legs. That's what's actually been keeping the offense moving. So if Dak can get moving and be able to break away, move the pocket, be able to neutralize the pass rush, it's definitely going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem for the Eagles. And let me tell you something. Like you said, this is his record. Dak is 3-0 against his last 3 games. He's beaten the Eagles, and he's not playing against Jalen Hurts. He's playing against the defense of the Eagles. Your secondary is poor. whack. Y'all done gave up 16 touchdowns already. All right, in the last 8 games. That's bad. You're back in, and I don't think Bayard is going to really make a difference. Your backyard is bad. And that's the difference when you look at the defense that y'all have. It's a good front seven, but that secondary is definitely suspect. And we definitely got some opportunities. Cook is heating up. We're using our playmakers a lot better now. It seems like Mike McCarthy wants to try to get into the bag, unveil a few things now. So it's going to be good, but it's going to be one in the trenches, no doubt. Your D-line and O-line is stellar. I'm not even on front. I can't say nothing bad. Jalen Carter and the boys, it's Reddick. Them dudes is coming, no question about it. So Dak has got to be able to move the pocket and throw the ball. And I think we're going to definitely win this game. And I'm going Dallas 38-30. Yeah.
Can I ask you one question? What'd you say?
Talk to me.
What'd you say?
38-30. 38-30. Yeah, 38-30. We're going to score points on y'all. We're scoring points on y'all, no doubt.
You said the game is going to be won on Dak's arm?
Yes, on Dak's arm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dak is going to move the pocket and throw the ball. Yeah.
Eagles defensive touchdown. Anytime Eagles defensive touchdown.
Not happening.
I'm done. Go ahead.
I guarantee you. And so Hurts is a fumbling machine. And he throwing picks this year. So
absolutely.
You talk about Dak throwing, you talk about Dak turnovers. Hurts don't look even better. And you know, Dallas is good for at least a touchdown on defense every game, just about.
Okay.
So I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think that both of you brought up some really compelling points. Now, my take on it, since I don't have a dog in this fight, I'll say this. I think the opportunity is going to present itself. I think Jalen Hurts, if we have to go player or position by position, I do give the Eagles higher marks than I give Dallas overall. I think the coaching, there is an advantage. Yeah. I think the quarterback, there is an advantage. Although we have seen uncharacteristically Jalen Hurts throw interceptions or maybe fumble the ball. Overall, if you look in totality of his career, that's typically not what he does. He's really good about protecting the ball. So I'll say this, when you think about receivers, now this is going to be important. I look at the position players, I look at the key components and who one team or the other team has to stop. Vitally important to stop in order to get the win or secure the win or lose the game.
Right.
I'll start with this. CeeDee Lamb is going to have a game like he had with the Rams. Tony Pollard is not going to be able to run the ball, right? So running is going to be pretty much neutralized. The problem is now all of a sudden Cowboy fans, after a good showing against the Rams, now want to trust Dak's arm. That's a problem. Dak's arm, you guys are best. When you think of Dak's best years, it's when Zeke was the pretty much the prominent player. It wasn't on Dak's arms. Now to try to say after beating up on the Rams that, and he looked impressive last week, and CeeDee Lamb had an impressive career game. Now all of a sudden, now we need to be on Dak's arm. I think that would be a mistake. I think that you need balance, and although the running game for you guys is not going to be easy, it's not easy to run. It's easier to pass on the Eagles than it is to run.
Then why would you not rely on Dak's arm?
But you're still going to have you're still going to have a balance. You're going to have to have a balance.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I think you're going to have a balance in order to be successful. But the problem is, okay, if now the Eagles focus on taking CeeDee Lamb away, because CeeDee Lamb has not proven that he is not, there are certain receivers that you can't take them away. You can't take Tyreek away. You can't take Devontae Adams if they want to get him the ball. You can't take Diggs away. You can't take, Justin Jefferson a few times has been taken away.
Yeah,
but
that's overall, that's taking him away, yes.
But overall, you can't take him away. What I'm saying is,
that's a misnomer, though, D. That's everything to do with targets. There is no corner or defense that has actually shut CeeDee down. Now, even against y'all last year in the playoffs, he had over 100 yards. No one is taking CeeDee out of a game unless Dallas is not throwing him the ball. It's only the lack of targets that keep CeeDee out of a game.
But you're putting it on Dak's arm.
Right.
The same person that you need to get the ball to, and you're putting your game plan on that person, that's where the disconnect is. I think if you put too much pressure on Dak, I'll say this, the recipe for you guys to lose, let Dak throw over 40 times. That is a guaranteed
He don't even need to throw that many times. But Dak,
so you're going to have to have the running game.
An efficient game. See, when we say Dak's arm, I'm not talking about Dak throwing the ball 45 times, having to throw for 400 yards and 5 TDs. No. We're talking about the moving the chains, making key throws, moving the ball downfield. The secondary for the Eagles is suspect.
They're torchable. I agree with that. They're torchable. They're torchable.
Dak always torches them. Dak has great numbers. I don't care how great defense the Eagles have had on the last few years. Dak still plays well against them. The back end ain't it for that team.
That was when you had opportunities
against them.
Game.
And they had a better defense last year when Dak threw over 300 yards against them.
But
and CD balled out with over 100-something yards. And that was when they had a better defense.
Can we say this? Can we be honest about Tony Pollard? It is a very Tony Pollard's performance is very much Juju Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown. Once you're the man, it's very different. When you have Zeke to tenderize the defense and then you can hit the outside, it's different when you are the man. So I'll say this, Tony Pollard thus far has been a disappointment. When you were most effective is when you had a good running game and so then it opened up. But if you're keeping the defense honest, the defense can't crowd the box. They have to play honest. But if you think that Dak is going to drop back without it has to be better than it has to be more than efficient. It has to be, you can't abandon the run, because what happens if the Eagles get out to a lead? Let's just say, for argument's sake, the Eagles get out to a 14-0 lead. Let's just say it happens that way.
It's going to happen.
What is going to happen with, number one, Mike McCarthy, his ability to in-game manage and come up with something to combat maybe the way the Eagles are attacking? And I'll say this before I pass it back to you guys. I think the key player, I agree with the DeAndre Swift take, but I also think that you're not going to be able, I don't care how good the Cowboys have been playing, you're not going to be able to take away A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. One of them is going to destroy you guys. So if the focus is Devontae, or let's say if the focus is A.J. Brown, Devontae and Goddard is going to really, really eat. You're not going to be able to take, and because you lack tight ends, because that's another thing that you had last year that you really haven't shown.
Ferguson is playing a lot better now. He's
running back
along. Ferguson is better. He's not Schultz, but he's better.
He had one good game. Running back has been a disappointment, and your tight end performance thus far, and of course anything can change. Ferguson could have a great game. Tony Pollard could run for 125 yards and a touchdown. But we're talking about what has happened thus far. Now, for the Eagles, the corners are torchable. You can do that. But at the same time, that only locks down one aspect of it. You're not going to completely just be able to throw all over them.
If Heine did it, if the Commanders threw all over them, that team, trust me,
it's Howell.
Dak
Sam
going,
Howell, not Heineke.
I mean, Howell, my bad. Yeah. If Sam Howell can thank you, Skrap. If Howell balled out like that, trust me when I tell you, we're coming in the air. It's going to happen. It's coming. So can
I get a stat line? Like, what would be, how effective through the air does Dak need to be in order for you guys to successfully beat the Eagles? Because this game is played in Philadelphia. Am I mistaken?
Yeah,
no, you're not.
Every year.
Okay,
right.
So
every year.
This is a high pressure game, and Dak he's not exactly in pressure games. He's not exactly Kirk Cousins, but he doesn't perform
definitely not
the way you would think a $40 million quarterback would perform. Now, I know a lot of times, people in the comments and everybody saying, they've become clueless at the quarterback position. Everybody's not. Brock Purdy, and I'm just want to interject this real quick. Brock Purdy is drafted number 262. He is making $800,000.
Oh, my God. I know you're not trying to make excuses for him now.
I'm not.
Because you didn't say that when he was playing
what
well.
I'm saying is,
he won like 49,000 straight games in a row.
What I'm saying is, with much is given, much is required. A $40 million quarterback is expected to perform.
Who was a fourth-round draft pick, by the way.
Okay, but he's getting paid as a top 5 quarterback. Certainly top 10.
Well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're talking about current day, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what's your reaction and how you are on Monday, because I think that this is going to be a really good game. It's exciting. It is a lot of playoff implications because Rod, let you tell it, you're definitely going to win the division and you're not concerned about the Eagles. You have said that all season.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the Eagles. I mean, my thing is this: we will probably either we're going to sweep the Eagles or we're going to split with them. They're not going to sweep us. That's not going to happen. I'm not really worried about.
We're talking about this. We're just talking about Sunday. We don't want to talk about the whole season long.
So you asked. Before I throw it to Skrap, I just got one thing. I'm gonna answer your question. So you said, what does Dak need to have? If Dak goes, in my opinion, anywhere between 250 to 300, he's gonna have a good game. Okay, that's gonna be a good game. You're gonna see. I believe in this. What mark my words on this. You'll see more Rico Dowell. Okay, who is actually averaging a better yards per carry than Tony Pollard. Okay, because Pollard does, to your point, D. Pollard does need to be alternated. He's not a back that can carry the full load. And I've always said that, okay? And he doesn't seem to be popping the hole the way he did last year. I don't know if the injury maybe from the broken ankle still kind of slowing him a little bit. We don't do
excuses.
But no excuses.
He's wearing a uniform, right?
But you're gonna see Pollard spread out, and you're gonna see Pollard spread out in formation. You're gonna see him in the slot. You're going to see some creativity here because we're going to neutralize, again, the pass rush that's coming in from the Eagles, which they have a very good one, all right? So you're going to see definitely more motion and a lot more things that's going to keep them on the heels. I agree with you, but I'm not saying Dak needs to be that. No, Mike McCarthy, no, listen. We've seen it the last two games. If the truth be told, D and Skrap, if I can tell you the truth, I'm going to pass it to Skrap. When you look at the Dallas offense, they really haven't had a chance, and the game they should have pulled out the bag and they didn't was the 49ers. And to this day, I can't still fathom or understand. It's completely inexplicable to me what happened to Dallas on that day. Their body language, just everything, not even schematically. They were just bad altogether. I don't know what happened. But when you look at the games that they've played, they haven't had an opportunity to really pull out the bag, to really go into the thing. We've seen it. It was already done in OTAs. It was done in training camp. There was a lot of stuff that Dallas has yet to run this year that we've seen in the beginning of the season during training camp, and to some measure, not so much in preseason because we didn't play our starters much like the Eagles had. So I think you're going to see an offense with a little more creativity, more formation, more motion, and we're going to be able to try to put some mismatches in there and kind of spread that defensive front there for the Eagles. That's what I believe you're going to see, and you're going to see some more Rico Dowell. Trust me, he's going to get at least 10 carries tomorrow, no question about it. But that's what I said. What say you, Skrap?
All right, well, he can get 10 carries for about 5 or 6 yards. That's pretty much par for the course. But no, with this Rico Dowell guy, like somebody we probably never heard of, and historically, you guys find that person off the street.
No, he's been with us about 3 years now. He's a good runner. He's a really good runner. He just hasn't been. He couldn't stay healthy, but he's a good runner.
Okay, well, I remember a while ago, y'all signed some janitor Bickerstaff, and he had like 5 touchdowns in one game. We're known for giving up, big plays and big days to no names. But what I can say to you against the 49ers, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Mm-hmm. They hit you guys in the mouth, and you was like, oh, y'all wasn't expecting that. So y'all thought y'all was going to be able to come in, stick around, and make it a game at the end. And the 49ers had other plans, and so do we. We have other plans. We have other plans also. Like, we're not going to play with you guys. We're not going to play with you guys because every big name quarterback that comes in, like Tua, they say, oh, your guys secondary is horrible. Tua's going to throw for 900 yards. We kept Tua in check. Now Sam Howell came in. The Commanders had a decent game plan, and they executed it against us twice. Eric Bieniemy, he schemes up nice against us twice. Howell gets the ball out super quick. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I got an alert. The Jets tried to trade for Devontae Adams. But anyway, what I'm saying is Howell got the ball out, nice and fast. And Terry McLaurin, he always has those types of days against us. It's just some of those teams that just got your number. And, the Commanders, to an extent, have our number. It's just, we don't always answer when they call, but they have our number. They don't always come out with the W, but they always make it a game. Now, you guys, it seemed like historically we don't have good games. We don't. Either y'all beat the brakes off us or we beat the brakes off y'all. It's no really in between. And it's been very rare that the second game that we play in the season actually means something. Because a couple years ago, y'all went 13-3 the second game. Y'all rested y'all starters, lost the first game in the playoffs. Then the next game, we went 13-3. Last game we played y'all, we rested our starters. We went on to win the Super Bowl. But you see, what I'm saying is, like, it's been a while.
Oh Lord.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Am I lying? Am I lying to you?
No,
He's right.
But it sounds like you're trying. Like, the thing is, the Eagles don't dominate us though. Like, okay, the 49ers and even the 49ers. Let's just be honest.
No, we dominate you guys. Come on now. Let's be honest.
No. Y'all dominate us this last game, but the last two playoff games were close. They went down to they were one possession games. So y'all didn't dominate us.
This is
You know
like
what I'm saying? This last game y'all
Skrap.
did. That's why it's in a
Skrap,
split.
this
sir.
is the same person that
Eagles
says this
What?
is the same person that says that the Lakers playing Denver, it was a close sweep. So just so you have the logic, it's a sweep is
close.
close.
So did y'all blow us?
So
so you trying to say y'all blew us out the last two playoff games? What'd you say, Scrap? What did he say?
I said they did. That's it. The Nuggets didn't use a push broom; they used a pull broom. No, now see one thing about Cowboy fans, right? Y'all hear what y'all want to hear. Nowhere in there did I say anything about dominating. I said the second game that we normally play in the season doesn't really have that much of a factor on a bearing on, the playoffs or anything, because everything is normally decided for our division, at least by then. Am I right?
That's only 1 year. No, because the year before last, y'all didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, Jalen Hurts was you didn't even know if y'all wanted to keep him or not. Y'all was getting ready to move off him if he didn't have a season.
Yeah,
so that was only last year what was pretty much determined in that sense. But y'all still needed to win some games last year towards the end. So what you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What I'm saying when we play y'all at the end, and we did make the playoffs the year before last. We got embarrassed by the Buccaneers.
That's it. Yeah, I did make the playoffs. My bad. Yeah.
We make playoffs. We make playoffs around here. We might not do much like y'all in the playoffs, but we at least get there. Okay.
At least you admit to that. Okay.
Right. I mean, we do a little bit more than y'all, but there's no prize for second place. Okay?
And we have to say this: we do have to give the Eagles credit as much as we don't want to. Out of these three teams that we all represent, they've won a Super Bowl most recent than us. This is our year, and the Niners are going to win it this year. But I'm saying, as it pertains,
Don, I got something for you too. I got to tell you something. Lord. I mean, I hear you guys on here, and I hear no. This is going to be good.
No, go ahead, please. No, go ahead.
This is going to be good. I hear you,
smoke.
And all I hear is if Brock Purdy would have stayed healthy that game, Don, let me tell you, he could have strapped Joe Montana down and did like my man on Child's Play when he does the I Way Dewey Dembala John and took all his powers, and y'all still wouldn't have won that game. Y'all was not coming into Philly and winning a playoff game. Teams don't come into Philly and win playoff games. This is not back when Andy Reid was here. This is not y'all not the Giants with the Seahorn double tap, get off the ground, pick off. Y'all not the Buccaneers. Yeah. Y'all not the Panthers. Nobody is coming into Philly and beating us in the playoffs. That's just not going to happen. It's not. So what's going to happen is they're going to come in. The team is going to get beat up on the field. The fans are going to get beat up in the stands, and then we're going to have a whole bunch of just post. Oh, Philly fans are the worst. They're horrible. It's just.
So let me ask you a question.
Respect our house. Respect our house.
Do you think out of we'll just stick with the NFC teams. Do you think that home field advantage out of the contenders, right? And we'll go with. These are the teams that I consider being the contenders. You have the 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Detroit Lions, maybe the Saints. Out of those teams,
or Seattle, even you can still
and
count
Seattle. What team is it most important to have home field advantage? I think it's Detroit, but what do you guys think as out of the NFC teams? Which team? Like, can the Eagles? You said they have a dominant home field advantage. No one's going to go there during the playoffs. Do you think that travels and they can do that on the road? That type of. Okay, that's what I expect you to say.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm glad I didn't let you down. We can win anywhere. That's just what we do. While our wins are not pretty, I'll be the first to admit it. But they're wins. Like, people like to, say it's an excuse, but We got a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator. That matters. That matters a lot. But you know, the luxury that we have is we're learning, but we're winning while we're learning. Okay.
I agree
now,
with that.
If we was losing games during all this, then oh man, the city would be on fire right now, literally burning up. But we're learning and we're winning while we're learning. So the wins are not the pretty wins are coming. Like tomorrow is going to be a beautiful win. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be.
You know, deep in your heart, you don't believe that y'all going to blow us off the map. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It's not. You just. Know
I already told you what I believe. I said either. I gave you either or. Either we're going to win by at least 2 field goals, or we're going to blow y'all out. It's no in between. Like the way we coming in tomorrow. Like I know you said Dak gotta. You know, he's going to torch our secondary. They got to protect him. They have to protect him. Every week, Hassan Reddick has been looking better and better and better. And we got those young, you know, Georgia.
Is Jalen Carter playing?
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Okay, good. That's big.
Absolutely.
Because I know he had a back. He had a back injury.
Absolutely.
So that's
and
big.
you know, Georgia is our farm system. We getting all our players from Georgia. We drafting the best players from the best teams, and they're all on the line. And don't forget, we still got Father Time, Brandon Graham. He comes in on 3rd down or whatever. Like the Russians, we're going to be in Dak's lap all day. You know how you say he's the Eagles' daddy, and they keep the kids on you keep your kids on your lap. We're going to be on Daddy's lap all game, all game.
Okay, so let's talk scores. Before we move on to our next matchup. All right, Skrap, what do you have? What's the score? What's the final score?
The final score is, before I say the final score, I just need y'all to know one thing, and I didn't even know this until I heard it. Did y'all know that since the beginning of last season up until this very moment, the Eagles either had the best or was tied for the best record in the league? Now I know y'all say, well, y'all had a cake schedule and all that, but what nobody says is the improvements that we made. Now, if we would have went into the last season with the same, receiving core, Greg Wards and those dudes, we probably would have lost about 5 or 6 games, but we improved a lot.
No, you have. No question. The Eagles are a formidable team, no doubt about it. Yeah, it is. No question.
Don't call us formidable.
Y'all are good.
Don't call us formidable. We are elite.
Y'all not elite.
Right.
We are elite. We got the best record on the planet right now. On the planet, we have the best record.
In 9 games, but we only 8 games into the season. Like you can't see that lets me know like how you're seeing the standard of success is not good. That's not an elite team.
Well, see,
and y'all you just said, y'all you can't be elite and still be learning while you're growing. Like you just said, y'all are learning and growing, and you're winning these games, but it's been tough sledding with these games. That's not elite. Elite is what elite.
I'll give them credit. I'll give them credit for losing a defensive coordinator, and offensive coordinator, and when they were dominant last year, right? They kind of picked up where they left off. So I'm calling it like I see it. That is a hard transition. When you lose both coordinators in one season, one off season, and you're still able to adapt it, that speaks to Jalen Hurts as a leader. That speaks to the team buying into the new culture, right? So we'll see what happens. We'll see what that leads to, but so far so good being 7-1. I mean, you can't. I mean, they're good.
Let me tell you something. The Eagles are a very good team, no question about it, and they are Super Bowl contenders.
Listen.
But they're not elite. You can't say
let
elite.
Go of the hate and say the Eagles are elite, and you'll feel so much better.
Because elite,
you will feel so much better.
No, that thing will. I'll have ulcers in my stomach if I say that, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It'll hurt. It'll hurt. I know it'll hurt.
It'll definitely hurt. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't mean to derail the program.
No,
I say the score. I'm gonna say Eagles too much, Cowboys not enough. I'm gonna say Eagles 42, Cowboys 17. I'm going 42-17. 42-17 Eagles.
You said 42-17? Oh my
God.
42-17.
I like it.
We're gonna take our belt off. We're gonna hold y'all up by one arm.
You gonna be here Monday?
So y'all can't run it. We're going up. Absolutely.
Yo. Okay.
If you want me here Monday, I will be here Monday.
Please be here Monday. Nice. Please be here. Oh, and that Sirianni face. Boom! He's gonna get punched right in his grill.
Now I will say this: out of all the coaches, he has the most punchable face ever.
Oh, his face, yo. I want to just.
I
Oh
heard
my
you say
God.
that. I heard you say that.
Ooh, his face is punchable.
But Mike McCarthy don't.
He
Kyle
does
Shanahan
too.
McCarthy just, McCarthy's
no,
like a
no.
rock, man. He's a rock with no soul. He's just there. He just Sirianni just makes you mad. It's just an arrogance to his grill. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just I don't know what it is, man. It just I can't. I just want to punch him in his face, man. I want to.
All right, Rod, you're up, man.
Yo, man.
Listen.
I think you said 38-30 already, but do you want to stick with that?
I say 38. I say 38-30. I was gonna say 38-27.
You can switch if you want,
but I'm gonna go.
Go.
Matter of fact, 38-27. That is what's going to be 38-27. And Micah's going to close the game out. Watch and see, bro. Micah's going to close the game out. He's going to be the closer. Mariano Rivera for the Dallas Cowboys.
Did you see Devontae Adams slam his helmet last week? That's what Micah's going to be doing on the sideline.
Oh, right. Okay.
Man, I forgot this Brooklyn beard. I got a beard. I should have had my beard on, man. I bought a beard when we got hard. And I should have had my beard on, man. Next time.
You good, Skrap. You good, bro. You good.
I'm gonna actually go with the Eagles. I got the Eagles. 35-21.
Oh my God! Y'all both gonna be here Monday. Y'all both gonna be here Monday, right? You both gonna be here Monday. Okay, we're going. Oh my God! I'm telling y'all, man. Oh my God! Don't let the Eagles lose Sunday. Don't let the Eagles lose, bro. Don't let the Eagles lose.
Hey, Don. Did you ever read that book when you was growing up? What Pop Baby Bird's Balloon?
No.
It's a bird. It's a bird with a real sad face, and the string is on the ground. He's sitting there like this. That's how my man looked. That's how my man looked after y'all whipped up on him, man. Y'all came back that day, man. I was laughing so hard, I was crying.
They did.
I actually felt bad for him a little bit. He was like,
They did.
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
They did. We'll see the Niners.
All right,
again,
so it's gonna be exciting. All right, let's move
on.
Let's go. Another big game. This is happening at the crack of dawn. We have Miami Dolphins versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, mind you, Kansas City is just coming off of a bad loss to the Broncos.
Horrible loss.
Bad loss to the Broncos. Dolphins have been pretty much rolling, right? But they looked good last week. But of course, the knock is, and this is the question, are the Dolphins frauds, right? Because when they play Buffalo, I mean, you can put up 70 against the Broncos, right? But the Broncos aren't a
unless
playoff
you're the
team.
Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true. But we still believe that was just a bad game.
Absolutely.
I think that speaks more when you see great players, like when Jalen Hurts throws interceptions, when he had that 3 interception game
against the Jets.
That was an outlier. That's not the norm. So when Kansas City has a bad game against Denver Broncos, now mind you, they had won 16 games in a row against them. So, hey, it happens, right?
That was the Jets' first time beating us ever. So yeah, it happened.
So it happens. These things happen. I'll say this. I think the Dolphins, this game, this victory is more important for the Dolphins than it is for Kansas City. Because even if the Dolphins beat Kansas City, in the minds of most fans, they'll say, yeah, Kansas City has an issue with wide receivers, especially if it's based on wide receivers dropping the ball. But in the back of our mind, we'll still think Patrick Mahomes is still that dude. He can figure it out. Andy Reid is a great coach. He'll figure it out. Travis Kelce, they'll make sure that Taylor Swift is there so his numbers will jump up. They'll figure it out. This is important, vitally important for the Dolphins to prove, because the Dolphins lost to Buffalo. They lost to the Eagles, which easily, regardless of what Rod or Corey say, who was on our last show, they could have won by 21 points. They took it easy on them in the red zone.
Oh, we took our foot off the gas.
And it was clear. I do have to say that. It was clear that they did so. So I think that the Dolphins and Kansas City is going to be an exciting game. I do think that from a standpoint, now this is why I was going back and forth if the Dolphins are going to win, if Kansas City is going to win. Globally, for Patrick Mahomes, this is my understanding is this the first time Patrick Mahomes has played in Germany. I think he's going to have to really make a statement, and especially losing the way they lost. Now, it probably would have worked out better for the Eagles had Kansas City won last week, but you're coming off of a loss. I can't fathom that they would lose 2 games in a row. Kansas City, that is. Both of them are 6-2 teams, and Kansas City is 1.5 point.
Can I ask you a
favorite.
question?
Sure.
Why would that work out for the Eagles? We play them 2 weeks from now.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be a very good game too.
So you probably meant to say Dolphins then. You probably meant to say Dolphins because you said how it's going to work out for the Eagles because they're not going to lose 2 games.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kansas City. Kansas City is not going to lose 2 games in a row. Right. And then you're going to have something. Speaking of 2 weeks from now, you're going to have a concern because Kansas City, Andy Reid coming off of a bye. That's a big deal too. So you're going to have that concern. But before we get to that, I do think I have been going back and forth with it. I'll give you what my official take is, but I think ultimately this is going to be an exciting game. If you got 4 players on your team that can run 23 miles an hour, that's something that is exciting. We've never seen that type of players, that type of assembly of players. But for some reason, I think it matters if they can get to Tua. And I don't think anyone this season thus far, maybe they're taking it easy on him, maybe because last year this time we were talking about should Tua, you just hang it up because of the concussions.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if people are trying to really, really get at him or if he's just getting the ball out. Now I know he's getting the ball out of his hands, and I know he took tumbling classes, and I know he took some break dancing classes, spin on his head, and learned different ways not to get a concussion.
Bow or something too, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting how he figures this out. But I want to know what you guys think about this Kansas City Dolphins game. Who do you like? And
I feel like the Dolphins should win this game, and is going to win this game. I think their defense, their secondary got a big shot in the arm getting Ramsey back. Okay, so
definitely
outside of Kelsey, I couldn't even tell you who the Chiefs wide receivers are. I know they got that Valdez-Scantling, right? And
right.
They got
Hardman. They got Hardman and the dude from the Giants.
You got
Hardman. I
Rashee Rice.
thought he was with the Jets.
They traded him back to the Chiefs.
Oh, back to the Chiefs. All right, but even still, those are not household names, and maybe Mahomes can find them in space because I really don't know how good of when the Dolphins played us, they didn't look like too good of a tackling team. So get your receivers in space, 5-6 yards, let them run for another 5-6 yards. You're gonna have to work the ball down the field. Now, what I would like to see and I expect to see is a high scoring game. Like I want to see this, like both of them score over 35 points because they got those. Well, I know Miami has that kind of offense, so the Kansas City is gonna have to keep up with them. Now that's the question: can they keep up with them? Kansas City they got who they got, that Pacheco, and they hardly ever use Edwards-Helaire. Like 3 years ago, he was their number
He's actually out.
He's out.
Hilaire's out. Yeah.
Well, they got McKinnon. He can play decent.
Yeah. Ex-Niner. That's why you saying that.
I mean, he played for Minnesota also. I mean, he's a good player. We didn't utilize him because he stayed injured, and we kept him for as long as we could. And the Dolphins
got an ex-Eagle and ex-Niner, Mostert.
Of course they do. Yeah. Of course they do. The coach is an ex-Niner. Like, listen, they are the softer version of the 49ers. They're a soft version of the 49ers. Right.
Okay.
They're a soft version of the 49ers.
Team version.
Yep.
Team version.
Yeah, but I would like to see a high scoring. Well, it's going to be early, so I'll probably fall asleep watching it. But I want to see a high scoring game. I need both of them to score over 35 points. Now the Dolphins should do it easily. Now can the Chiefs keep up with them? That remains to be seen because the Chiefs defense is so-so. Is not really any household names on there besides the lineman Jones. Is he still there?
Yeah, Jones.
Oh yeah,
he's okay. I know they was having a little contract issue in the beginning of the year, but maybe they settled that. Okay, so maybe they can get pressure on Tua, but I don't know. Tua, he's weird. Like one game he's throwing for like 500 yards, and then he plays the Eagles and throws for like 120. But you know what I'm saying? It's like it depends on which Tua shows.
You sure you want
tomorrow.
him back on Monday if you lose?
I want him back on Monday.
He is
Yes.
going to
Yeah.
destroy.
So I like the
Yes.
Dolphins. I'm gonna say Dolphins.
I love Skrap.
I'm gonna say Dolphins 38-27. Dolphins.
Okay. Rob, what's
Mr.
your
Rob.
take on this?
Yeah. I'm with Skrap on this one though. I got the Dolphins on this because Howard is questionable, but they say he's expected to play. So you got him back. You got Ramsey back. We actually had a pick last week. They're definitely gonna, I think, beat them. And here's why. Vic Fangio, what they're gonna do there in the defensive side of the house with Miami, they're gonna just double Kelsey. That's it. Double Kelsey and let these
That's
other
smart.
no-name cats just try to beat you.
They're
You
gonna
got
have to
two
beat us.
elite corners out there. Listen, these other guys, they're not gonna. They're no threat. No one is losing sleep preparing for those wideouts. And if you rely on having to rely on Mahomes to try to take you over the top, let me tell y'all something. It's coming to a close. There's only but so much a great player can do without help. You need help. Mahomes can run the magic as much as he can. He's going to have some plays. He's going to keep some drives alive. He's going to do some things that's going to really look, just Mahomish like, right? But at the end of the day, that's not going to win you games. And their defense is not great. They give up a lot of yards in the air. You got Tyreek, the whole crew, everybody's out there. They're going to be running wild. It's going to be mad chase out there, as my brother would like to say, when we was growing up in Brooklyn, when we used to just chase each other around and cats was real fast, like, yo, give me some chase. And you just start running and chasing cats. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to see out there. It's going to be mad chase running around. And I don't think, the Chiefs, nah, it's not happening. I don't think they're going to win that game. I'm going with Miami on this one. I got Miami 34, Miami 34-23.
Okay. 24-30,
24-20.
24-20. 34-23.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hate to go against you guys, but I like Kansas City. I think hopefully it is a high-scoring game. Now, I'll just bring to you guys, I just want to remind you the last time that Ramsey tried to stop Travis Kelce, what he did. I was going to post the video, and I just don't want to do it. It brings up too many bad memories. Travis Kelce is going to have, and he alluded that he didn't want to say if Taylor Swift was going to be there. But Miami should hope that Taylor Swift is not there. Travis Kelce is going to have a game. Not only do I have him on my fantasy team, which, of course, I hope he has a great game because he's on my fantasy team, I think he's going to have a very, very impressive game. And I think that Mahomes is going to be able to get the other receivers involved. Now, look for, I would say, MVS to have a good game, an impressive game. Because, of course, Travis Kelce can't do it alone. And that Mahomes trying to be a hero and do all of that won't be able to suffice against a team. Will they be able to run the ball? If Pacheco can run the ball and keep them honest, Kelce, Pacheco, I think MVS, I like their chances of ultimately winning. My score for Kansas City and the Dolphins, I like Kansas City 30, Dolphins 24.
Okay, that's respectable.
So it's going to be a good game. I think there's going to be some yards to be put up. It's going to be interesting if Miami can run the ball against Kansas City. If they're effective and they can create a balance of run game and passing, because they're going to pass. And Tyreek mentioned he didn't shy away from it. He says, it doesn't matter where they play. Because this is the first time Tyreek is playing them since he left Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
He said he's going to get that work. He's going to try to. And so that's what makes me think that Mahomes is also going. Nobody wants to be embarrassed, right? It's like a divorce. Nobody wants to feel like the other person, or a bad relationship or a breakup. No one wants to feel like the other person is shining or doing better after they've parted. Now, Kansas City holds that because they won the Super Bowl, right? So from that standpoint, they won because they got the Super Bowl. From Tyreek's standpoint, he was one of the highest paid wide receivers. So he got his money, and he is in the MVP conversation. He is approaching the possibility of going over 2,000 yards. So everyone's winning, but just like anything else, now that you're playing each other, you want to, I'm sure both of these teams want to show their dominance. And they want to show that, you know what, after this breakup, we were the best team, or we were the best coming out of this breakup. So it's going to be exciting for everyone that's watching. East Coast, 9:30, 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. It's going to be good.
This game should have been a Sunday night.
Should have been a primetime game. Yeah, it should have been a primetime game. They should have, if they could. But I think it's because it's Germany. They couldn't have, it couldn't be a Sunday night game. They want the best teams, the best players, who's bigger than Patrick Mahomes? Who's bigger than Travis Kelce or Tua or Tyreek Hill? They want to try to get that overseas money, so they have to showcase them. They don't care if the game is 1:30 in the morning. Like, this ain't really about us. This is not about the American fans. This is trying to stretch that dollar, and probably there might only be 5 Miami jerseys and a few Kansas City jerseys. They're going to have Packers jerseys. It's just any football fan in Germany. Just come and crowd this stadium, get this money. And so it's a money grab, because certainly those two teams should have been on a prime time. That should have been the 5 o'clock, 5:20 game or 8:20 game on Sunday night, or should have been a Monday night game, standalone game. But instead, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you going to do? But lastly,
I don't know if you heard real quick on that. I think there's an article out there with Mahomes and them saying that they chose to play Miami and Germany because they didn't want the KC crowd to be booing Tyreek. They was looking out for Tyreek. That's why they agreed to a Germany game against the Dolphins. So
really,
there's a link out there. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I meant to say I'll send it to you guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have one more really, really good game. Buffalo Bills versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals are a 2.5-point favorite. They're coming off of an impressive win against my 49ers. Joe Burrow looked impressive. He started the season with a calf injury, and they kind of worked their way through it. Kind of coming back. They were 3-3. Now they're 4-3. The Bills are 5-3. Josh Allen. They just signed Leonard Fournette, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. Leonard Fournette had on, I don't know what kind of shorts. I don't know why he had those shorts on. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen the
I didn't
shorts.
See it. I just know
Leonard
he said
Fournette. Come on now, listen. Why
really?
You got the shorts?
Was it a pause moment?
Yeah, it was pause. It was like, yo, all right, we get it. You're an athlete, but knock it off with the shorts. Yeah. In any case, we know that Josh Allen. I think personally, and I've said this before, the Bills would be so much better if they weren't so dependent on Josh Allen. He's a star quarterback, but he can't be your leading rusher. And they had opportunities at the trade deadline. It seemed like Derrick Henry was out there for anybody that was interested. Like, hey, this is a good running back that could take the pressure off of Josh Allen. Let him focus on being a quarterback, preserve his body, work on his receivers, his tight end, Dalton Kincaid. You got Gabe Davis. Of course, you got Diggs. So you got receivers. You don't have to worry about running and taking those extra hits unnecessarily. And if you have a good running back, and I'm not saying they're running back, but if you're still adding Leonard Fournette off the scrap heap, that means you're still lacking in the running back position. And I think until they come to that realization, they're always going to be a team that's good, but not good enough to get over the hump. This is going to be a good test because the Bengals are super hot right now. And I'm not saying that because they beat the Niners. They have been hot. They started, and now they've won, I think, 3 or 4 games in a row. So they're impressive. They're coming off after their bye. Joe Burrow seems to be 100%. Chase is, of course, Chase. T. Higgins, who was dealing with an injury, he seems to be back. Of course, they got Mixon in the mix. So they have their team ready to go. And we've seen historically last year, same thing. When they came off of a bye, some teams require a bye. When they get the bye early, especially if they haven't been playing well, that allows them to recalibrate and get back to winning. Watch the Niners against the Jaguars next week. You heard it first. Yep. We're going to handle business.
Y'all taking an L. Y'all taking an L next week, but go ahead. We'll talk about that next week.
We'll see about that.
The Jaguars, that defense is legit, bro. And they lead the leading takeaways. But we'll digress till next week.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I think this should be a good game. What do you guys think? Who do you have winning? And I'll say this one more thing. I think Diggs, it works better, and I think the Bills are more successful when they're not trying, when Josh Allen doesn't try to throw every ball to Stephon Diggs. You got to spread it around. Everybody knows that's their focus. That's their number one receiver. It's never in question. It's not like CD, and you're wondering, like, is CD the number one or is Gallup the number one? You know who is getting all of the passes, right? And the focal point that he's going to be involved in the offense all the time. I think you just have to keep the ball, pass the ball, share the wealth, get Gabe Davis involved, get the tight end involved, and then it makes it more well-balanced. And, it keeps the defense honest. If you have your running game working, I think it all works out. What do you guys say?
I think you're kind of right. I do see the Bengals winning this game. It's like their offense is finally clicking. Burrow, the injury is all healed up. So now he's like, him and Chase is clicking. Like you said, Higgins is back. I know because my fantasy team took a big shot in the arm this week with Higgins. So, yes, Higgins is back. But what's not really said a lot is Cincinnati's defense. Like, their defense is way above average. Like, I like their defense, and I just think that Buffalo, like you said, it's like he's force feeding Diggs the ball, kind of like Hurts did after AJ Brown yelled at him.
Right. That's right.
It's like he's force feeding him the ball no matter. It's like he's not even looking for anybody else. But like when the ball goes up in the air, you're like, oh, he's throwing it to Diggs, and he's either overthrown, underthrown. It's like their offense has no. It's not in sync. He's not looking to a secondary like Gabe, like you said, Davis. They got two tight ends that's more than good. Their running game is their Cook. I mean, Cook is a good running back, but they don't use him. It's all Diggs. We're going to go all Diggs, all game. We're going to win or lose by Diggs, and Diggs we trust.
Right.
That's what we're doing. Diggs we trust, and it's like they got to find balance. Like no team other than the Eagles can target one wide receiver all day and have success. That's not going to happen. There's only one AJ Brown. He plays for the Eagles. Okay, so you got to spread the ball around.
I think Justin Jefferson. I think when Minnesota had Justin Jefferson, you knew he was going to get the ball a gazillion times, and yet they still couldn't stop him. So,
until he played the Eagles, but okay.
hey, Skrap, you do know as bad as just go back a little bit, it's a bleed from the last segment there. You do know as bad as that Chiefs wide receiver core is, right? Because that's pretty much essentially the same core. That core didn't beat you guys in the Super Bowl.
Those no names killed us. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Every time they scored, I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this dude?
They had Juju Smith-Schuster, but what's his name that was on the Giants that he just can't.
Oh, Tony.
Skill-wise, Kadarius Toney. Skill-wise, a great player. He just can't stay healthy. Yeah. And I mean, he had a series of drops where he was dropping wide open passes.
Oh yeah, that
so
was
like the trust ain't there either.
The Lions, man, they dropped 1 million passes. Yep. Man, that was just.
They did.
That was ugly. But I do see Cincinnati winning this game. I say somewhere around 28-24, maybe. It's going to be close. It's going to be close because at the end, Buffalo likes to put the cosmetic, points on the board to make it seem like it wasn't as bad as it was. But yeah, so I feel like a late touchdown to make it, like 28-24, something like that.
All right, Rod, what do you got?
Yeah, I got Cincy on this one though, but Cincy's got to run the ball like they did last week. If Mixon gets going and they get to run the ball well, I think that'll definitely neutralize, in a good way. They did pick up the Bills, that is Rashul Douglas. That was a big pickup for them. Kind of fill it in for Tre'Davious White, which obviously was a huge loss for them.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, D, I think when you look at Josh Allen, it's just way too much. And they don't use what's his name, the other back they got, Cook, like you said, Skrap. They don't use him enough. So again, they just put so much. Goes back to my point about with Mahomes. When you just put too much on the quarterback, at some point he's going to run out of steam. He's not going to be able to play to that same level. And Cincinnati is right now hitting their stride. Offensively, they're still ranked in the bottom half of like 31st in the league, actually. But again, we know that's just stats on paper. That was from the earlier performances that they had when Burrow was hurt. They couldn't buy points. Now they're scoring. They're starting to run the ball a little bit more. Mixon is getting going. Had a good game last week. So I think if they can run the ball well, and right now the way Burrow's looking, they're going to play well against that Buffalo defense. I think it's definitely going to be the Bengals for me in this game. So I like the Bengals. I'll probably go in. I'm actually going to go 28. I'm going 28-24.
Oh, come on, guys. Can somebody, listen,
what?
You guys are sharing notes or texting each other back scores. Listen, what? I'm going against you guys, and I think the Bills, again, I think the Bills
like to be different.
I like to. I think the Bills are going to figure it out. I think they're going to win this game. It's going to be close. I do agree. It's going to be a close game. I would say that the game is going to be 35-28.
Bills.
D's a little salty from last week still, so he's got to go against the Bengals.
Oh,
that's not the reason.
You got to understand.
If anything, I would pick them to try to look how great this team is. No, I just think that the Bills, it's a must win for the Bills to win this, because think about Miami. Miami's 6-2. If they want to kind of keep in pace with the division, is very important for them, and it's still available. It's right there in front of them. They can still somehow, some way win the division. And I think the home field advantage for them is important. That cold weather, nobody wants to play in that cold weather. That pick of the Bills is not objective. It's because that is not that is not the reason. Why? That's not the reason. I just call it like I see it. I think that the Bills have a chance. Are the Bills?
D, why are you refuting what our guest is saying? I mean, you want to be able to show some respect. I mean, are you trying to say Chris doesn't know football?
He knows football.
Is that the pastor, by the way?
It is the pastor. It is the pastor.
Man of God. I mean, don't you want to at least, that's some insight he's giving, from spiritual insight that I think you need to heed to that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Pastor, I appreciate you saying that, because I said the same thing.
Yeah, I think Pastor's right. I think Pastor's
right too. That's three. The amount of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established. G. So I think that's it, bro. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. We'll respect the guest. We will see what happens. I think it's going to be a good game. This is a good football week. And even though the Niners aren't playing this week, I think it's going to be a really good football week. Now, real quick, let's talk about the NBA. What do you guys think about this in-season tournament? I think these players, and I'm not knocking them. The players make a lot of money. Why does Adam Silver feel like he has to further incentivize them to play in games? Like, is the love for it not enough? Is the fact that they are playing for something, is that not enough? I get it that they want to keep it exciting, keep people engaged, but this is and I don't want to seem like the old guy, but the NBA has lost something that they have to re-incentivize them with, and it's nice. I mean, an extra 500,000, that should push and motivate them. But what do you guys think about that? And since we have our resident Philly fan, What do you say about the process? What do you think about Embiid and the process and James Harden leaving in the middle of the night? Like, how do you feel as a Philly fan? Do you think Embiid's days are numbered as a 76er? Is he going to, there's talk he's going to Toronto. There's talk that he may be going to the Knicks. What do you say?
All right. Well, first about the tournament, I think that I don't like it, but there was some really good games last night. Like, I can't even lie to you. Like, there was some great games. But I think what the NBA is doing with that new TV money, they're trying to fill up TV spots. I mean, you gotta keep the product out there for people to see, you know. And the tournament is just another thing, you know, for like diehard basketball fans, you know, to salivate over. It's just like with the NFL. Do we need a Thursday night game? Like Monday Night Football used to be, you know, the end of the week, and that's just it. Now they give you like a hors d'oeuvre of Thursday Night Football. Like we didn't need that. We don't need it. Right. We don't need the tournament. We don't need it, but basketball fans want it. So whatever the NBA gives you, if you're a diehard basketball fan, you're going to take it and you're going to like it. And there's nothing you can do about it because they're multi-million jillionaires over there, and we're just who we are watching it. Now, as far as my Sixers go, Embiid said some things that, you know, I think stuck with me. He said he wants to be like Kobe and, you know, play for one team his entire career. But what I will say is it depends, you know, with the Harden situation, you know, that's why I say that GM shouldn't promise people stuff, because Morey probably promised Harden this or that. And then, I mean, if Harden played the whole Boston series like he did game 1, he probably would have got the deal that he wanted. But game 6 and 7, Morey said, you know, I don't think he's that guy. And Joshua Harris said, you better not give him that money. You better not. So him promising Harden whatever he promised them, because Harden came out and said he's a liar. So, you know, he promised him something. So, yeah. So with that, you know, it was sour grapes. So now that Harden,
and they talked him into taking the extension. I guess when he didn't get the extension, they talked him into opting into his final year. Right. In the, I guess to say summer. They're going to move him, and then they didn't move him. There was, you know, it kind of died where they said. I mean,
we moved him, but everything don't happen when you want it to happen. You can't tell your boss this is what I want, and then he runs out and do it. No matter what Harden is, and I'm sorry he's only making $36 million this year. Like, I'm so sorry. His kids got to eat, you know, grilled cheese and hot dogs. You know,
right? I mean, exactly.
Like, sorry, you only making $36 million. But what I will say about Embiid, I'm off Harden. He's gone. We got a nice little package in return for him. So hopefully Morey can take that. And because at the end of the year, Tobias Harris comes off the books, even though he's playing great right now. He comes off the books. So I saw we're going to have about $70 million in cap space to play with. We'll be able to get somebody with that, okay? Yeah, and all those contracts we just got, the Marcus Morris and the Nick Batum and the Covington, those are all expiring contracts anyway. Right. Okay, so I mean, this was a great deal for the Sixers, and the draft picks. Really, who's going to sit around and wait till 2028 to make a draft pick? We're going to package all that up. Now, I was telling Don earlier, the names I heard was Zach LaVine, which is good, and OG Anunoby, which is also another good player. So I got to sit back and see what we do. Now, whether Embiid stays or leaves is solely dependent on what Daryl Morey does with these assets that we just you know got. But what I can say is about the process ended when we became a playoff team. I think Brett Brown was held maybe a year or two too long. Once we made it to the playoffs that first year, Brett Brown should have been fired. He shouldn't have been extended. You don't give him a chance to coach a winning team that's actually winning now. He was there to drive the ship right into the iceberg. Okay, that was his job. He was supposed to be there I mean, it is what it is. He was supposed to oversee the tank. That's what he was supposed to do. He oversaw the tank. We went 10-72. We got a bunch of, you know, top draft picks, you know, one number 1, a couple number 3s. We got those. Okay, we were good after when Sam Hinkie was our GM. We were good compiling assets. Now, what I didn't like is how the league planted the Colangelos into our system. because they come in there, they squander away the assets. They never been good GMs. When Brian Colangelo was the GM in Toronto, he used the first pick on Bargnani. Okay. So he comes here, squanders away the assets, and then he trades with Boston. You never trade with Boston. Ever. In the NBA, you don't trade with Boston and you don't trade with the Lakers because you're going to get the short end of the stick. So what does he do? He goes out. He trades, the first overall pick. And they say, oh, they should have took Jason Tatum. No, they had it in there that we couldn't take Jason Tatum because that was their guy. If we would have drafted Jason Tatum, it would have avoided the trade. So Boston was taking Jason Tatum with the number 1 pick. Now, the only reason why I think that we made the deal to move up is because we didn't want Lonzo Ball. It wasn't set in stone that the Lakers was going to take Lonzo Ball, so we moved up to get Fultz. Okay, everybody say, "Oh, well, you should have took Mitchell. You should have took this guy. You should." They wasn't looked at as that, high in the draft talent. So you can't go reaching with that top pick because even though you was wrong with the top pick, what if you reach and be wrong?
Exactly. Okay? It would be worse. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So Colangelo does all this, and then he does good by the NBA. He messes up everything. And then you mean to tell me a 70-year-old man, right, gets banged for a Twitter scandal? He don't even know how to Twitter, He don't even know how to tweet. He don't know anything. Yeah, he's got all of a sudden he got burner accounts and he's talking trash about the Sixers and they start playing. No and then all of a sudden they just you haven't heard from him since. They just disappeared into the night. Yep. So I'm just looking to see what we do next. Like, I can't focus on the past because you can't change it. Unfortunately, life don't have a rewind button where you can go back and change stuff. Okay.
That's true.
So what I'm looking to see is what we do in the future. Okay. We got a nice young core. Tyrese Maxey is going to be an all-star this year. The kid's averaging just about 30 points a game. I mean, I know it's only been 4 or 5 games, but I can only go by what I see right now. The kid, he's a hard player. He plays hard. We got to get his defense up, but on offense, when he's coming downhill, it's nothing you can do. But you might as well tackle him because he's going to finish through contact and he's going to get his points. Now that he's learning how to play the point guard, today he had 10 assists against his career high 10 assists. So he's learning also. And like the Eagles, he's having the luxury of winning while learning. So he's learning the game. Embiid is going to be Embiid. We just got to keep him off the floor and keep him healthy. I'm glad they started fining for flopping because you see the flopping stopped.
Absolutely.
Okay? Fining for flopping. Yeah. Now he's even turned into a better passer. So I don't know if it's the Nick Nurse effect. I don't know that much about Nick Nurse because what I saw from him, he can't teach. And you can't tell me he locked Kawhi in the gym and made him simulate running and drifting into the corner and hitting a 5 bounce shot.
Right. The last time.
Oh yeah.
And I'll say this. This is. Let me tell you when the process ended. The process ended right here. This is when the process ended. See if we have it.
Oh my God. Actually, the process.
That's when the process ended.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that
I forgot about that.
I forgot about
that.
And well, listen, I'll tell you this.
I mean,
can I say something before you get too deep?
Sure.
You need to listen to the pastor when he said respect.
Your guess.
Respect the guest.
Respect the guest.
My mom saw that and she wants to give you a piece of her mind. But
okay. All right. I respect the guest. I won't say anything. All right. Well, I won't go there. But I will say this. I think Embiid, his focus needs to be on winning, right? So Embiid is a great player. We all agree with that, right? This is the only problem I have. Last year, his focus was on winning the MVP, right? That's all. It seemed like that's all he cared about because the year prior, he was, what else do I need to do? Like, we see that Joker deserved the MVP. Joker is a great player. If you focus, but I don't think the great players don't focus on the accolades that come with being a great player. They just play their game. They play within the confines of what the team kind of concept is, and that usually breeds success. Embiid is looking for the accolades. He's looking for you're the best center in the league, and that comes in, and who wouldn't want that naturally, right? But when that becomes your greatest focus, individual accolades, I think you're missing the boat. I think you need to just play ball. And for me, the reason why I think that he can only get to a certain level of greatness, he falls way too much. I mean, he is a tumbler. He falls. He's always on the ground, and he's hurting himself more often than not. I'm glad that they started ending a lot of the flopping because, James Harden got to the line a gazillion times a game.
Trae Young.
Mm-hmm. All of them were looking. What's the guy that plays on Miami? He won in Toronto. He went to Miami. Point guard.
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. They all flop. They all are looking when they take a shot. Hey, they're always looking for a call. And I get it that you're supposed to, sometimes play through contact, but that can't be your focus.
They embellish it.
A lot of embellishing. A lot of embellishing.
You forgot LeBron.
Oh my God. Well, listen. Right here. We don't have a problem. LeBron is one, and he this is a perfect way to kind of go into the whole Lakers debate, right? Because the Lakers, let them tell it.
Oh God, here we
LeBron was going to be on a minutes restriction, right? He was going to this. LeBron slowly but surely, this beginning of the season, LeBron 28 minutes. Let's just. Hey, we're gonna monitor your minutes because we're looking at you're going into your 21st season. We want you to be there towards the end. And the problem is that LeBron can't pass the team. He can't give the team to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis he got a big payday, unlike what Rod thought he would do. He got the max money. I think Anthony Davis is making $63 million a year. Is that right, Rod?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's not playing to that level, right? So, I mean, Anthony Davis, when you need him to ball, we discussed this last show, we were talking about Anthony Davis and LeBron talking about how they were looking and how they were, when they faced Denver again, how they were going to show Denver and all this stuff. And so somebody asked me about it. If Anthony Davis, if you could pass the team to Anthony Davis, and you can't pass Anthony Davis the team. You can't. It's just, listen, anytime you talk about Anthony Davis passing the team, you can't do it because Anthony Davis doesn't want that responsibility. He likes all of the things that come along with playing in the City of Angels. And of course, historically, every big man finds his way. Any big man that's worth anything finds their way in LA because ultimately that the fan base, they are super loyal to a fault. Sometimes they, beyond logic, love their players that put on the purple and gold. But I don't think he loves all the stuff that comes along with it. And I'm going to pass it to you guys, but I got to say, how far do you think the Lakers can go with the way, and we had this discussion before last season, and Rod brought that up. It's not sustainable for LeBron to put up that many hours or that many minutes per game and think you guys are going to go deep in the playoffs. What do you say?
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Scrap. Go ahead.
Oh, well, what I do want to say is how you was talking about Embiid with the accolades. The first Joker MVP, I think he shouldn't have won that. He only won because Embiid didn't play enough games. But a note is LaMelo Ball won Rookie of the Year that year and played the same exact amount of games. End quote. So yeah, look it up. Yeah. So but with the Lakers, I think until otherwise, all roads to anything goes through Denver. Denver plays hard. They play team ball. There's no egos on Denver. I think Joker is fine scoring 9 points as long as they win. Like you said, Joker is not an accolades type of a player. He just goes out there. He plays the game the right way. His defense could be better, but
of course. Mm-hmm.
But he's pretty much a turnstile on defense. Like that's why Embiid barbecues him every time they play. But I'm not gonna bring Embiid back into this. But the all roads leads through Denver. Like I see Phoenix, they kind of beefed up. I don't know. They don't have a big man anymore. Even though Ayton was, on the fringe of okay, they don't have nobody. There's nobody in the West that can hold Joker. Like, he does anything he wants to anybody he wants. Now the Lakers last year, they kept some of the games close. Okay, so that's why my man Rod said it was a close sweep, even though
sweep. It was the closest sweep, right?
Close sweep. I've never heard that.
Right.
That's why I said. That's why I said they didn't use a push broom.
Yeah.
They used the pull broom.
It was a Swiffer. They used a Swiffer.
Yeah, they used the Swiffer. It was a Swiffer sweep. But all roads through anything in the West goes through Denver. Like the East, you got a couple teams, but in the West, Denver's the class. It's Denver, then it's everybody else. So I don't know. The Clippers are not. That's not going to work. That is a powder keg waiting to explode. And when it happens, when I tell people stuff and it happens, I'm not the I told you so type. That's why I tell you before it happens. And then when it happens, I just go, I just shrug. I'm like, it's just what happens. Like, I don't think it's enough basketballs there, for Harden and Westbrook. Like, somebody's going to have to come off the bench. They all can't start. It's just not, I know Westbrook comes off the bench, but Harden thinks he's just going to walk in and, automatically he's the starting point guard, you don't just walk in and just take somebody's spot. You have to earn it. You're not James Harden you're not Mohawk James Harden. You're Braids James Harden. Okay. Right. You're the facilitator. You're not coming out scoring 35, 40 points a game. That's just not what it's going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I really want to hear, I didn't really touch on the Lakers because I see Rod's face and I don't want to, me and him already got, we already got our thing with the Eagles.
You don't want to anger him, right?
Yeah, I don't want to anger him. I don't want to anger him, man.
Right.
No, bring it.
No, I mean, the Lakers are the Lakers. Like, they're going to be respectable because they got the, they got the mystique, the Showtime and all that. They got LeBron and they got Anthony Davis. I mean, LeBron's still doing it in his 21st season. And a lot of people, I see a lot of comparisons with him and Jordan. And they say, well, LeBron, he's averaging 27 points in his 30th year, and Jordan in his 16th year, he was this. I say, some people don't need as much time to get their point across, So, I'm gonna pass it. I'm gonna pass it to Rod because I want to hear what he has to say about the Lakers because I don't have any feelings about the Lakers.
What do you have to say about that comment, Rod? That they're such a small team, injury prone.
I think he's talking about the Clippers. I think Rod is talking about the
Lakers.
Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers. Yeah, the Clippers.
He might be
Rod,
is that
Lakers?
We're not a small team. Not by far. I mean,
maybe it's Clippers.
We got Hayes,
outside of Anthony Davis. I mean, who's the big?
You got
one?
Hayes and you got Woods. Christian Woods is big. In fact, that's why we the last two games we played because we're closing out with the bigger lineup. That's what was giving Kawhi problems in that overtime victory we had against the Clippers because the length was bothering him.
That wasn't the problem.
Yeah, no, listen, it was.
Who were their main players? Two of their main players fouled out. I mean, if Paul George doesn't foul out,
I agree with that.
You lose that game, and that's would have been 13
but what I'm
in a
saying
row.
is, but from based upon the way we played defensively and schematically, playing with a bigger lineup works for the Lakers. It does, and it gave Kawhi. That's why Kawhi really didn't get off much. He got off in the beginning of the game, but once we came out with and Butch actually stepped up his defense too. Cam Reddish. So with Reddish, Woods, and AD, we've really been able to clog that middle. Paul George was just hitting threes. Points. He was just, but I'm saying, but put it in context, though, D. He was hitting a lot of threes, Paul George. So the perimeter defense wasn't that good, but interior-wise, which is where, again, you got guys like Kawhi was really making his money in the first three quarters of that game. He couldn't get off in the fourth quarter or in overtime because of the length is there. So the Lakers got the size there. The thing going back to LeBron and can he play these minutes, 35 minutes a game? Now, he only played over 40 because the game went in overtime. It can be sustainable, and you thought it wasn't sustainable last year, and clearly it was. LeBron put up ridiculous numbers for 20 years in the league. But the truth is this, huh?
Did y'all win last year?
No, we didn't. But what I'm saying is that, but can LeBron? Your question is, can LeBron play at that level? Is it sustainable for LeBron to maintain that level of play in his 21st season if he's going to have to play more minutes than what's expected, right? Because you're saying you can't pass a team off to AD. The thing is with LeBron is he's not playing on the ball as much. He's more off ball than he's ever been in his career. Reeves, who finally had a good game, he's been missing all season until the other night. Finally had a good game, showed up and played because he's been trash.
He is trash. He's trash.
No, he's not trash.
I
just think the playing in the Olympics and everything, they kind of, I don't know what it did, because he's a young player. He probably didn't know how to pace himself with all of that. So he came back, didn't play well, but he had a really good game the other night. But with him off the ball, if you got him and you got D-Lo, who's closing out games now, you got other guys that can run the ball. So what really happens with LeBron, he's resting while he's playing, because the truth is he doesn't have to facilitate the offense to the degree that he once had to. So can it be sustainable? Yes, it can. Can the team pass it off to AD? I don't think it's about AD's team. The Lakers got to win as a team. We made the playoff run because we were winning as a team. It was all about defense. Defense is the key for the Lakers. So when we get Vando back, that's going to definitely help a lot. Hachimura's been hurt the last couple of games. He hasn't played, but you'll be able to get him back in there. So defensively, the Lakers, and expect a big move too. The Lakers are going to definitely make a trade before it becomes the trade deadline. They're going to move on D-Lo. They're going to definitely make some trades to get the defenses. Real quick though, going back to Phoenix, the problem with the Suns is the Suns have no defenders, and Frank Vogel wants defenders. Expect the trade. Bradley Beal is going to be out of there, bro. He's not going to stay with them. I'm telling you now, they're going to find a way, somehow, some way, to package him somehow, because Frank Vogel, he wants defense. He's a defensive-minded coach. He coached a great Indiana team with defense back in the day with Roy Hibbert and those guys and Paul George in that team. And then he also with the Lakers in the 2020 bubble with the defense. He likes defenders. They have no defense. KD is not playing any defense. Booker ain't playing no defense. They're not defenders out there. So Phoenix needs defenders out there. If Vogel is going to have the kind of team he wants. That's why him and Westbrook didn't get along, because Westbrook don't like to play no defense. And you're right, Scrap. To my last point, you're right. All four of those guys in LA and the Clippers, I don't know how that's going to work, especially at the end of the game, because Russ is going to be angry if he can't close out the game and play, because it's not even about him starting.
Harden wants to dribble for 18 seconds. Don't forget 18, that.
You right about you, and you know better than anybody, right? Because he played with them.
Yeah.
So
Don knows too. Don knows too.
And Don knows too.
He was in there.
Oh yeah, you definitely know.
He was in there for 30 minutes. Now I want to ask Rod one thing. Rod, I just want you to, and this is, we could talk to Skrap all day, because this is a great show.
Skrap is good.
But let me just, he's awesome.
He knows sports, man. Go ahead. Yeah.
Let me just ask you this: the Lakers beat Phoenix with just Kevin Durant, right? With just Kevin Durant.
And
Bradley Beal
beat him too. But go ahead.
Bradley Beal and Booker were on the bench, right? So just with Kevin Durant, and you beat the Clippers after not beating them, I don't know how many games
like
in a row.
Like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You beat them with basically Kawhi, right? Because Powell fouled out and Paul George.
Yeah.
And so you're struggling with teams. You're supposed to have a big three, right? Or a big two. You're struggling with teams that you should be really dominating if you have arguably the best player who's ever played and another top 10 player, because Anthony Davis is it. So you're not concerned as a Laker fan that so far so good, like so far not so good. You're winning, but it's not impressive.
I'm gonna tell you why.
It's taking so much to actually win.
I'm gonna tell you why that is. Number one, I'm not concerned, and here's why. Right now, what's happening with Darvin Ham? Ham is trying to figure out his lineup because he doesn't have his guys. Okay, because again, Hachimura is hurt. Okay, Vando is not in, so your lineup is not there right now. And so what? And this is the issue with the Laker fans that we have with Ham a little bit. Ham is right now playing around with his lineup. It wasn't until the last two games that he got some solidification in how he wanted to end games and mix and match guys in terms of finding that right chemistry. So that's the problem, because not having Dennis Schroeder is huge, and I don't understand why they didn't re-sign him. I don't know why they went with Vincent from Miami, and you actually in Toronto signed a Schroeder for far less, and his stat line is no different. In fact, almost identical to what Schroeder's is. Plus, Schroeder plays defense. But
they did that for LeBron. He wanted to be surrounded by shooters.
Well, he had to get Vincent, but he doesn't shoot any better than he only had a good playoff run. But in a regular season, Vincent shot the same. He shot 36% from threes, just the same way as Schroeder did. So my thing is
No,
this.
but Vincent can heat up. He hit like 8 threes against my Sixers. Like I've seen the dude heat up. Like
that was in the playoffs, right?
Even
that
if he was in the gym
playoffs.
by himself.
Again, playoff.
No, that was during the regular season.
You just said
Okay.
You just who benefited more from a playoff run than Austin Reeves? Austin Reeves, you said he looked. Oh man, this is supposed to be the man.
Yeah.
He got a shoe deal out of it. And so far, he's been trash this season. People can make
Reeves
their money.
Played good, but Reeves played good He played good all season, not just in the playoffs.
10
Vincent
points
didn't show up into the playoffs.
10 points.
Nobody knew him
Averaging
in the
10 points is playing
playoffs. When Hero went down, those three guys who had they had about 5 minutes of experience between those three guys in Miami, they all of a sudden played well in the playoffs. So he got hot. So that's
where you make your money. That's where.
But you don't get no right. But
Reeves remind me of when on Sanford and Son when Fred was selling those Whopper choppers. It looked good during. Remember, Fred was something. That's what Reed is.
I
Reed is a Whopper chopper, man. You get him home, you pay all that money for him, you get him home, and now he don't work. He's broke.
Reeves is struggling, but he's back. We're gonna see what he look like. You're gonna see what he look like next game. But to your point, D, no, I'm not concerned because again, once we get our squad and it looks like Ham wants to go big, closing out the games, I think we'll be fine. You're right. We should not have struggled against the Suns without Beal and without Booker. I agree with you. I was like, oh my God, why are we struggling against this team? I agree, but it's still early in the season. D, a lot of teams are still trying to, some are already on it. And to Skrap's point, Denver is a team to beat. Denver's the team to beat for both conferences. I don't care what you say. Nobody in the East nor the West is better than Denver. Jokic got a lot, and Murray's a beast. It's just as simple as that. And they lost a little something with Bruce Brown, but they still a very good defensive team, and they can still score. So I definitely agree. But the Lakers will be fine. You worry about who's passing the baton in Brooklyn. Who you passing the baton to there? Ain't nobody worthy to pass the baton out there yet. That's who you need to be worried about.
Brooklyn has a stockpile of picks, and we're building, but we're at the same time we're not exactly going the process route. We're not going the process route, but we're going to win. And of course, just like this, there is talk that Mitchell wants out of Cleveland. So if we added a Mitchell, he's
playing like he wants out of Cleveland too.
Maybe that's all part of the master plan. But I'll say this: I'm okay with Brooklyn dealing with when you lose 3 superstars in pretty much a season. You lose a Harden, you lose
y'all still
KD.
Traumatized? You still traumatized?
No. I think you understand and you come to grips with. This is a rebuild. This is not a rebuild, but you have to build back up from having those 3 dominant players. So I'm all good with that. Brooklyn is not the problem. The face of the league is not on my team. The face of the league, arguably, if you say that the greatest player who's ever played is on your team, it should look like it. Don't start pointing down to Brooklyn Nets and expansion teams and teams that was owned by Russian owners and talk about the Lakers, right? You got how many banners? Focus on that. If you have the greatest player and you have arguably a top 5 player, you have 2 top 10 players on your team. Correct?
Yeah, arguably.
I mean, I'm asking you, are you arguing that you have 2 top 10 players?
I do believe we have 2 top 10 players.
Okay, then. So if you have 2 top 10 players, you ought to look like it. And I think at this point you don't.
But and let me tell you something, Skrap. And you've been watching the show, Skrap. Okay, you watch the show. Okay,
absolutely.
Here's what D does, and I don't know if you've noticed this. Okay, D loves to just blurt out stuff, right? But he never wants to put nothing in context. He just loves to just,
I just state the facts, and then
you should already be 8-0 already. You should already AD should be averaging 60 points a game. It should match his contract value for the year, $60 million a year, 60 points a game, right? But I'm saying you got to still put things in context in terms of play. Matching up, we don't have all our guys. Guys are hurt. You got to still put it together.
You have your main players, though.
I mean, we
don't have that bando. Just like you were talking. And we'll bring it back. I'm going to bring it full circle. You have a $40 million quarterback in Dak Prescott. Don't tell me about a kicker. If you have the best player who's ever played, arguably, don't tell me about Vando and Hachimura. Those shouldn't be your focal points. Your focal point should be what you have. You have Anthony Davis.
Right. But LeBron
and you have
plays
LeBron James.
But LeBron plays. It's still system for LeBron, right? He needs shooters. He's going to need guys that can clear things out. He's going to have
no
guys
longer
that know how to
the
cut,
system.
pick and rolls. Like, you got to still have a. It's not just throwing those two guys. It's not 2 against 5.
I realize that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. But that's the context you got to put it in.
Oh, he needs more at this point. He needs.
No, I'm not saying he needs more. Just need our team. We need our complementary players. Just like, again, it goes back. And I agree with you. I know Skrap didn't agree with you there. Okay, but I do agree. If you have your complementary players, if the 49ers had their full complementary of players, Purdy being the case in the NFC Championship, the outcome might be different. Like it
would have been different.
You can't just we got to be careful with just saying
we ain't
what a
doing
team should
that.
look like.
We're not doing that. The outcome probably would have been different because it probably wouldn't have got that ugly.
Because it got bad.
Not winning that game.
Oh, it definitely got bad.
It got bad quick.
And I'll say this one thing that Rod also tried to slip in. The Lakers, you watch the trade deadline. The Lakers are going to make a move. You did say that, right?
Oh, LeBron is definitely going to make them.
All right, so they're going to make a move.
For that.
He's gonna start right on cue. Start putting out cryptic tweets that there needs to be some changes and Pelinka, and I don't know how long I want to do this, and I may want to retire. And this is the other thing. Somebody told me when a team makes trades within season, it's a desperate team. Somebody said that about the 49ers. You said that because the 49ers made a trade for Chase Young.
That's how y'all save y'all season the last 3 years. That's how y'all save y'all seasons. Y'all make trades.
So
this
is that you're being able to have some foresight as to what the Lakers going to do. They're going to have to save their season.
We saved our season with a trade. You're right. The Lakers
you're going to do it again? How many seasons
before? Well, no, we are, because the truth is we want to move because we're going to move on from D'Lo, and we're going to definitely we're going to package him probably, and we're going to probably get some more players and some more shooters around there, and maybe some more defense. Because Taurean Prince, I'm not feeling him so far. He's okay. He's supposed to be our one of our clutch shooters too in the perimeter, but I don't know if he's going to pan out. We got to see. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers make a trade. But you got to make a trade if you're going to close the gap against Denver, right? So I mean, that's natural. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do agree with that theory. You're going to make trades. You're going to become better.
So when a team is interested, when teams are interested in getting better, and if they see something that can help them get better, they address the deficiency. That makes logical sense, right?
Right.
But if the Cowboys, who have deficiencies, right? Or do you think your team has no deficiencies?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I know y'all gonna jump on me when you say this. I don't believe that the Cowboys, we have maybe some depth issues, but I don't think we have deficiencies. We just don't know how to utilize our weaponry. We don't know how to utilize the weapons that we have. That's the problem with Dallas. We've got players. We just don't utilize them well. We got players. We just don't have now. We could use some depth on.
The boy here says he owes me. He owes me.
That's a nutso take. You didn't need nothing. Dallas
I'm not saying we needed depth. We needed depth. Okay, let me ask you something. We have no picks in 2024, right? No, we don't have a third, fourth, or fifth because we lost them in the Cooks trade, the Trey Lance trade, and then also in the Gilmore trade.
You got cap space. Use somebody as a 1-year rental.
We got to sign Micah, and you got to sign CD.
A 1-year rental. You think we're going to sign Chase Young to a
what position? Okay,
deal?
So what position would Dallas going to get? Name me somebody right now we could have brought in that was going to help solidify something for us for a 1 year.
Your run game. You could have.
Who?
Derrick Henry. They were trying to dangle him in front of the Cowboys.
You got to give up a number one for Henry. They wanted capital for him. We don't have capital to give them. That's the thing. You think a trade just happens because you just want a guy? You gotta think of capital. How much trade value you're going to get?
But this is what you have to understand. You have players that you're going to have to pay soon. So your ability to hold on to this great dynamic team, wait till we get Diggs back and wait till we have Bland. Players are going to want to get paid. You have to pay Micah. You have to pay CeeDee Lamb. And you're paying a $40 million quarterback. You better go all in and push all your chips to the center of the table. And
we would have done that. But this trade deadline, because everybody is saying this, but Nobody is saying who they could have gotten. Dallas, there's nobody we could. Y'all needed help because y'all can't rush the passer. Bosa ain't get a sack since 2015. So y'all couldn't get no pressure. So you got to bring in guys. That's why you brought in Sweat in these guys because you can't get pressure. It made sense. CMC last year, you needed to make a pop because your running game, your offense was stagnant. You had to bring in a guy with a splash. Dallas couldn't bring in those splash guys because the fact is,
but all the teams are improving. The what you're trying to vilify. Every team that has added to their team has made themselves
they needed that.
Better.
Bayard is in Philly
because
they needed help in the
Detroit, the 49ers.
They needed help. Y'all needed help.
And you guys don't need help.
D.
You don't need help?
We need help, but y'all was able to have capital and cap room, and it makes sense for y'all. Sweat, y'all think y'all going to re-sign him if he don't have a good year? He's going to walk.
We don't have Sweat.
Walk.
Sweat.
Not Sweat. The other
signed the deal with Chicago.
No, not Chicago. Yeah, he just signed. Not Sweat.
We got Young. We got Young, and we got Randy Gregory. They are rentals. They are a rental. Hurts rentals. We are going to take them back.
But D,
maybe
y'all gave up.
Gas,
y'all gave up that. Y'all gave up draft picks for now, though. We don't have draft. So you think we're going to give Tennessee a 5th round draft pick for Derrick Henry? It's not going to happen. We didn't have the ability to make the trades like y'all did.
Is your window to win now?
We can win now if we utilize our players. We have good
Jerry
receivers.
Jones,
we have
Jerry Jones said he would give anything to win a Super Bowl.
He said but we know Jerry's all about the bread. I mean, we know what Jerry's about. But to Jerry's defense, though, there is nobody out. The only thing we could have traded for was for depth. That's it. Who was we going to bring in? You're not going to bring in a stellar corner. You wasn't going to bring in another stellar linebacker. You can't bring in another stellar offensive lineman. We didn't have the ability to do that. So who was we going to get? And we don't have a 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round pick in 2024.
So my question is, if you knew the trade deadline was coming, right? And we're going to wrap the show.
We made our draft picks in it. We made our trades in the offseason.
You knew that the trade deadline was coming. Why would you trade for Trey Lance? I mean, if you're so tight on picks, why are you trading for Trey Lance? I mean, it's simple.
Trey Lance is going to be probably, and trust me when I tell you.
And that was a head scratcher.
Trey Lance is. I think they're going to trade Trey Lance. If they're going to probably most likely trade him next year.
But you're going to have to showcase him. You're going to have to speak because his last tape does not look good.
Then that's my point there too. If you got to showcase him, and I agree with you what you're saying there. The Trey Lance trade was a little. It was a head scratcher. I will admit. We don't know what he looks like. He didn't play at all in preseason. He didn't play at all in the regular season. So we definitely because we're going to trade him before the trade deadline last week. So you're just sitting with a guy, right? Now he'll probably get some burn next year in what you call it in preseason or whatever have you, and maybe we'll see what teams want to bite on him. But that's about all you have. But D, we couldn't make any. Y'all made splashes. Bayard is a splash. Who actually played. Now he gives Dak some problems. So I am going to be looking out for that tomorrow because he actually has picked off Dak the last 3 times they played. So he can be a problem to Dak. But y'all made splashes, D, because you have the ability to do it. Dallas doesn't have the ability to get any splash players there. We got a good offense. We still have a good line. They ain't playing well, but we do have a good offensive line. We do. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not playing well, but they're still there. Could we use some depth at linebacker? We could, but the way
wide receiver, you could. I mean, there's a lot of
playing. Our linebackers are playing actually pretty good right now. They've been playing some pretty good ball. Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas in the back because Quinn likes to play his safeties in the as linebackers too. So guys is playing. Jerron Kearse is now starting to play a lot better than what he did in the beginning of the season. So is Hooker. So we got guys that are playing well. We don't really need to make a big splash like y'all. Everybody wants the sexy pick, but that's not how it works. If you don't need it, we didn't need it.
Homeward Bound. I mean, there's a movie about this called Homeward Bound. You guys will not go deep in the playoffs because Jerry is
we're not going deep in the playoffs because of what? We didn't have good players. We just didn't go the only reason we didn't go deep in the playoffs last year, D, because it was 2 crucial interceptions in the red zone. That's what killed Dallas. It was those 2 interceptions. Other than that, and we got one-dimensional in the second half because Pollard broke his leg, and now we had nobody to run the ball. That's it.
But that's why depth. That's kind of my point.
But that doesn't change. Bringing in a Derrick Henry. I mean, yeah, that sounds great. But it's not even the running back so much as it is the run scheme. So that's really what the issues is. And I think Dallas is going to do fairly well coming now that we're moving the rest of the season. I think we're going to see. Now we got our running back coach who's a really good. Skip Peters back. He's going to definitely be able to get the running game going like he did last year and the year before. And you're going to see more Rico Dow. And I think that's what you're going to see. You watch and see.
You just paid Tony Pollard. You just franchised Tony Pollard for $10 million, and you worried about Rico Dow?
Rico Dow is a good back.
That's who's going to save you?
I know y'all don't follow Dallas like that, but Rico Dow is a very good back. He's a bruiser. He runs hard. And every time he touches the ball,
I follow all of those players.
I mean, you should know Rico's a decent back. I'm not saying that he is on the level of a CMC, you know what I'm saying? But he's a very good back. He's a good back. I'm not saying he's
I actually picked up Rico Dow and dropped him immediately.
Of course.
Bro, you need to you should pick him up this week, in fact. I'm telling you, he's going to get some burn. Pick him up. I'm telling you.
10 rushes, 5 yards. That's going to give me negative points.
It's going to be all tackle for loss.
I'm telling you. That's going to give me negative points. A lot of TFLs.
A lot.
The Eagles got a stout run defense. It's going to be tough sledding tomorrow. We can't give up on the run. We get a couple little breaks. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And let me make this last point, fellas. Let me make this last point. It's just a real quick, D, and I'll be done. You can take us where you need to go. Real last point. We talk about teams, and everyone says with Dallas, you can't beat the big teams. You can't beat the better teams, right? You're only good against lesser teams. Same thing, arguments made about Miami. But if you think
Cardinals got one win.
Cardinals got to win, and the Jets got to win against the Eagles. And what is my point here is that the truth of the matter is you only play top-tier championship contending teams about 30% on your schedule. That's it. How does teams get to the playoffs? By beating bad teams. You beat bad teams to get to the playoffs. You're only going to play top tier teams about 30% of your games. If you think about the games the Cowboys got to play, they're top tier. We got the Eagles twice. We got the 49ers we played already, right? You got the Bills. We got Miami coming up, and then we got Detroit. That's only 6 out of 17 games. Everybody else is either mediocre, in rebuilding stage, maybe a wild card team like the Rams perhaps, but not really quite. That's all. Nobody's playing. It's like the NBA. You're not playing Denver every night. You're playing bad teams and mediocre teams. You're going to win some of those games, but you got to win most of them to get into the playoffs. And you're going to have a little fluke like we had against Phoenix, right? And then you got the Jets who beat. That's clearly an anomaly, Arizona. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Arizona we lost to, and the Jets beat Philly, right? But no one's saying that, Philly can't beat the big teams or whatever like that, or they losing to bad teams. That's a loss that could hurt them, Philly that is, in seeding, depending on how the rest of the season goes. Same thing with Dallas with the Cardinals. That when you lose to a bad team, that's really what can hurt you. When you play 30% of the teams that you got to play that are of quality, you want to at least split those games, if anything. That's what you want to do.
I did have us losing one game before the bye, so we did that already. So tomorrow, you know what's going to happen.
And I'll say this: the 30% that you're talking about of only playing the top tier, 30% of the top tier in your schedule. The problem with your logic, Rod, is that that same 30% you're going to see in the postseason. And if when you face that 30%, you lose to that 30% in the regular season. There is no tomorrow.
Those 30%. What I'm saying is you can't lose to all those 5 or 6 teams. If you at least win at least half of those games, right? So look, this is how I'm looking at it. We're gonna split with the Eagles, right? We're gonna split with the Eagles. If not, we're gonna beat them. We're gonna sweep them. Then we got we could beat Buffalo, right? And I think the game we could actually lose is against Detroit. That's the team I think for some reason Dallas could actually lose to. We could beat Buffalo. So you got the 2 Eagle games in Buffalo. We lost to the 49ers clearly, and we'll probably lose. We can either lose to Miami and we'll lose to Detroit. But what I'm saying is that
that's like 5 out of 6. You guys are in trouble.
No, that's not. I mean, if we beat the Eagles twice and we beat Buffalo, then that's 3 games, and we lose to the 49ers.
So you really think you're going to sweep the Eagles? You're going to sweep the Eagles?
We can sweep the Eagles.
You got to watch his eyes. Whenever he starts talking, and his eyes go to the left.
Dallas.
I'm trying to figure out what's in that bottle.
Y'all barely beat us last year with Cooper Rush. What did he say? I missed it.
He's trying to figure out what's in that bottle.
What's in that bottle you drinking?
Listen, this
y'all
is
barely beat us with Gardner Minshew.
Barely
Like, we can do this all day. Y'all.
No, but that's my point. So what I'm saying is that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no domination here between the Eagles and Cowboys. This game could actually go either way. All right. I think for the most part, you have almost an evenly matched team, considering the way that Philadelphia is playing now. But remember, you're right. We what you call it? Y'all had Gardner Minshew that we beat. But again, you talking about Dak going against y'all defense. After Sweat had the 6th pick, that was it. Dak went off. Dak threw for over 300 yards in that game. Dallas can beat the Eagles, and the Eagles can beat Dallas, no question about it. But there's no dominance between either one of these teams. That's the only point I'm trying to make. It's not like y'all, and plus we're division rivals, we know each other. It's no domination like that. I think people got this misnomer to think like, okay, that the Eagles are just gonna wipe us on the floor. Like a 42-17, bro, you better be here on Monday. 42-17, that is outlandish. That's outrageous. That's just despicable to pick a score like that, to think that you have no respect for the Cowboys, that you're gonna beat them down like that on tomorrow night, even in Philly.
It's
and they only won by 10 last year without that.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's disrespectful for him to say 42-17. It's like who in their right mind would say 42-10? What team would allow you to lose 42-10?
I'm gonna tell you something. Losing to the 49ers, who haven't won since they beat us, by the way. Both the 49ers,
it happened already.
It happened already.
It happened
already. He's giving you a little grace. He's giving you an extra 7 points.
I gave him a cosmetic touchdown at the end, man. I gave him a cosmetic touchdown. It might be a Mariota pick 6. Because Mariota's definitely going to get some time.
He's trying to say Hurts going to be resting. He ain't going to be playing in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Listen. The 49ers beating us was the best thing that could have happened to Dallas, because that ain't going to happen again. We ain't ever going to get embarrassed like that again. At least not this team. It ain't happening. No, It ain't happening. No.
Well, listen, fellas, listen, Skrap, we appreciate it.
Oh,
I'll say this. We had a fantastic show. Skrap, thanks for joining us. And we're going to have you back, because we got to do.
Oh, Skrap is coming back.
Right.
Please.
Skrap is coming back.
Skrap. Rod might not be here though. Rod might say, "Yo, I can't make the show. I got a schedule conflict.
He gonna have chicken pox.
He
gonna have chicken pox. Bird flu. He gonna have bird flu.
He's gonna bird flu. Right.
He has bird flu, man.
Right. So he may not make it. But we're going to definitely have the reactions. And also, shout out to Corey, because we got to have Corey on the show.
Corey's ready to get back going.
Kansas City. And
it wouldn't have been great to have Corey and Scrap D. We could have just sat back when they played each other 2 weeks ago. Yeah. We could have just sat and chilled.
Like, if y'all had us on there, I would have been the nurturing, the nurture. I wouldn't have beat them down like that, because I'm in the building up, man. In my later years, I'm over 40 now. My later years, I don't kick people while they're down. I help them up and I dust them off, and I make sure they're good, man. Right, just as long as he understands what happened on that field.
He's still in denial a little bit. There is some denial in that.
Refs, I know the refs.
Yeah, the refs. And
discipline. That causes discipline.
Face mask and
that was that. Well, they did get the fumble recovery and they scored the touchdown. So the face mask thing, I told Corey, that gets null and void, because y'all.
We're not gonna talk about the bomb that AJ, where the guy was literally pulling his jersey because AJ fought through it and caught the ball. It's like it never even happened, but. It's still footage of it. Like we can nitpick missed calls all day. Right. We can do that all day.
I will say this, Brown is the number one receiver in the league, though. To me, right now, bro. Now, that's the number one receiver
over Tyreek.
Yes, over Tyreek.
Really?
Over Tyreek.
Okay.
Over Tyreek.
I mean, Tyreek got the the blowaway speed, but Brown makes those in traffic catches, man. Did you see that one hand? Did you see that one hand?
That was amazing.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was a crazy catch. I can't lie.
Wait till he do that to Deron Bland tomorrow.
Ain't gonna happen. Bland was going the other way.
Let me ask you a question. We gonna go before we get out, because I gotta go to work. We going a little Eagles Cowboy history. Do you remember that game we played when the Eagles ran a flea flicker, right? And we threw a touchdown deep. I think Reggie Brown caught the touchdown, and they showed the Dallas defensive back on the bench crying afterwards. You remember that?
I think I do remember that game. I can't remember.
Was that Terrence?
Terrence Newman, that might have been T. New. Yeah, I think that was T. New. That was back in the
I'm not saying
Garrett
he
days.
was whining. He had tears coming. You know, he looked like you know, like one of those cries, like from the soul, like like it was killing him.
I remember that.
Inside.
Yeah, I do recall that. Yeah,
All right,
I do
so
recall.
tomorrow,
Man,
just be ready.
Great. Yo, listen.
Just be ready for a lot of helmet slamming, and don't break your television. Do not break your television.
No.
Televisions cost money, man. Do not break that television.
Well, we didn't need to do that, man. No need to do that. Listen, oh my God, listen. If we win, listen. Monday is gonna be so on,
with
bro.
the same
He's
look
gonna
on
be
my
here.
face. I'll be here.
Right.
Dino, from years and years of hearing me talk my stuff, I can dish it and take it.
So, Skrap, where are you from originally, though? You from New York? Where you from originally? You from Philly?
Nice. Philly.
Philly.
Oh, you Philly all day. So how did you know
Southwest
D in New York?
Philly. We work together. We work together.
Yeah.
Oh,
We work together. Yeah, we work together,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
He was on the other side of the office, you know, hearing me and my brother, rest in peace, E. He was on the other side of the office,
bro.
you know, hearing us yell stuff at him all day.
Yeah.
All day long. For 8 hours straight.
Was your brother an Eagle fan too? He was an Eagle fan too?
Absolutely. He was Philly.
Oh yeah.
We Philly. Oh, you know when we coming somewhere. You know when Philly is there, especially up New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt. No, the Eagle fans.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I've gone to a lot of Cowboy games, and you know what I'm saying. I've been to a couple of stadiums outside, but I ain't gonna lie. To Philly, that's a stadium, bro. Yeah. It's like I'm gonna have to call you up, Skrap. Make sure you in the building.
Yeah. Well, I don't go to the games as much because you know I got 4 kids and I don't want to sell any of them just to go watch a football game because those ticket prices are So I had the best seat in the house, right on my couch, man.
No, I feel you in that.
Or I might go to a bar or something to watch it. But I went to a couple games. I went to the Chiefs game last year. That set me back $1,000.
Wow, bro.
$1,000.
Wow,
Good thing it was a gift
bro.
because I'd have never paid that. You know, I'd have never paid that. You kidding me? I was actually going to I was actually going to scalp the tickets out there, but I ain't want to. You know, I'm like, man.
Right, you didn't want to do that to him, right? Like,
right.
I would look like I'm
I get about $750 for these. It wasn't much money to begin with. Yeah, no. But
like, I love the Eagles, but I ain't taking no money out of my crib.
Right.
At all. None of that.
I feel you on that.
Yeah,
man.
Monday.
It's gonna be good, man.
Yeah,
listen,
Skrap was good today,
appreciate.
man. Congrats, Skrap. Good job today.
Thank you, Skrap. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for
Shout
having
outs to Skrap, man. Fantastic show. Please, everyone, like, share, subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube page. We appreciate it. Shout outs to Kingdom Creator for the production. Shout outs to Infinite Audio for the music, all original tracks. Once again, Monday show is going to be, if you thought this show was great, Monday show is going to be ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But once again, like, share, subscribe. We appreciate it, Skrap. Once again, awesome job, brother. Good seeing you. Rod, excellent. Until next time, everybody. Peace.
Peace.